Brooklyn. I don't want to say exactly where because we're live. I got here. I lived at a healthcare facility for about a year and a half. I got there because I was in the hospital prior to that. I contracted pneumonia, walking pneumonia. Got very ill. Wound up in the hospital. Was pretty much in a coma when my father found me in bed. I lost about 50 pounds in 1 month. Being proud, I continued to work. I refused to tell my family I was sick. And somehow he found me in bed. I don't recall him picking me up. I don't recall him taking me to the hospital or putting me in the ambulance. I don't recall any of it. All I remember was waking up in bed, looking up to a couple of strange doctors, men, my body lifting up myself lifting up from my body, and soaring out through the window. I didn't break the glass, I just flew out. Flew up in the sky into the clouds, and I saw my dog Benji. I used to run 5 miles a day with him. I had him as a teenager up until he was 12, and he was my baby. So seeing him up in the sky and floating up there with him was joyous. It was joyous. I was so happy. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay there. And I wound up back in bed, looking at these men and people around me. Turn to my right in the bed, I see what looks like a eucalyptus plant. I look to see who sent it. It was my best friend. I won't mention her name, but she knows who she is. It made me smile. It's one thing that made me smile. Close my eyes, open them. I see a coworker, a friend of mine. Prior to me being very, very sick at work, she told me to go to the doctor, but I didn't want to lose my job because they were firing people who took off, and I didn't have insurance. But she offered to pay for an ambulance to take me, but I refused. I denied. It's like I dream a genie. Close your eyes, you open them, there she is, like magic. Close them again, she's gone. I don't recall my family being there. I recall walking over to the mirror, looking at my body, crying. Prior to that, I was buff. I was working out a lot. I didn't like it. I was sad. I was depressed. A Spanish nurse comes in. She sees me crying. She says, "¿Qué te pasa, papi?" And I said, "Mami, look at me. Look at me. I've never looked like this. I can't live like this. I don't want to live." She said, "Papi, no te apures. Cuando llega a la casa, va a comerte un arroz con gandules and some pernil," which is when you get home, you'll be eating some rice with peas and some roast pork, like Puerto Rican people do. So she made me smile. She hugged me. She wasn't scared of me. She wasn't scared that I was sick, that I would make her sick. It was the one glimmer of hope I had. I had her. They did tests on me, catheterized me. They gave me terribly allergic to, which gave me a rash on my back. I got needles in my stomach every morning. I asked why. It was a big, a chubby nurse. Her name was, I called her Cupcake because her perfume made it smell like a cupcake. And I wanted to just bite her arm every morning. And one day I said, "Cupcake, what's with the needle?" And she said, "We give it to people when they're bedridden because we don't want them to get a blood clot." And I said, "But Cupcake, you were yelling at me because I was doing sit-ups on the floor the other day and you told me to sit down and rest. You know I don't stay in bed. I don't want the shot." She said, "All right, baby, you don't have to have it." There was one mean nurse that wouldn't, I would want coffee and I would want to go down and she wouldn't allow me to go down. But the Spanish nurse would look out for me and she'd go sneak, go get a coffee and get one for me. So that was pretty cool. Got better, got out, moved to my apartment, started working out 6 times a day, assuming that I wanted to get back in shape, 6 times a day. I was 6 cups of coffee, double shot, 3 sugars, 3 creams, go in, pop one, work out, come back, draw, go back, rest, go back, work out, up to your 6th workout. At the 6th, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Up, there's that noisy train.
So I had to speak to a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist told me I was bipolar manic. I tried to explain to her I'm addicted to the coffee and the dopamine of the exercise. And I told her Olympic stars do this, sports people do this, ballerinas do this. Why am I bipolar manic? And she said, well, you have to take 2,000 milligrams of medication. I said, I don't want to. I said, it's toxic. I don't like this. She said, you have to. One, uh, see her, horrible little lady, German, oh no, Russian rather, and my therapist is there. Two men are there, and the police are there. I told her, is this some sort of intervention? She goes, no, you have to go downstairs. I go, I see the psychiatrist, I speak to her. She said, you're fine. She said, the only thing is you have a bit of a silver tongue, so that'll. So I chuckled, signed a piece of paper, walked out, tried to open the door, went to open it, it was locked. I told her, you know, what's going on? Can I leave? She said, no, you signed yourself into a psych ward. I said, oh, fuck, psych ward. I'm going to deal with this. I said, what do I do? She said, give me your cell phone, give me your keys, take off your shoes, take off your belt. I did so. I sat down. There was a woman walking back and forth in her panties and a bra, screaming for a cigarette. I wanted to tell her to shut the fuck up. You can't smoke here. I said, please, can I go in the other room? She said, yes. I sat in the other room. It was quiet. There was a man there. She gave me a little something to eat. He was eating something. He asked me for some of mine. I gave him some of mine. He kept begging for more. I looked at the bed. I said, dude, there's food all over your bed. Just fucking graze and shut the I have flat feet, so it's hard to walk without shoes. Um, I get there. A nurse greets me. She says it's time for snacks. I said, great, awesome snacks. This is wonderful. So I go. I asked the gentleman, I said, what do you have? He said, tuna fish. Me being a smartass, I said, what am I, a cat? He said, well, you don't want it, then don't take it. Don't be ungrateful. I said, I'm terribly sorry, sir. I was just kidding. She brings me to my room. She passes by this really big, buff, young black guy. She calls him by his wrong name. He turns to her and said, if you don't call me by my right name, you fucking bitch, I'll kill you. As who is he? She said, that's your roommate. I said, okay, great. Today's the day I die. So I'm thinking to myself, how do I survive this? All the prison movies I've seen, the mental ward movies I've seen. I said, I know in the prison movies you have to befriend a tough guy. You have to give him a gift. You have to charm him. So that's exactly what I did. Every night I bought him a roll that I would stuff in my shirt or a dessert because we're not allowed to take it to our rooms. And then I would stick it in his pillow at night. And then when we were asleep, I'd tell him, bro, there's something in there for you. We became friends. He knew I learned, he knew I speak Spanish. He asked me to teach him. Every day I taught him a new word. We spoke about physics. We spoke about sex. Because apparently he was straight, but he was a virgin. But love is the same, whether you're straight or gay. So I advised him. He appreciated that. We became friends. I'm going to pick up tomorrow because this is what, 9, 10. Oh, no, I still got some time. So we became friends. And one day funny story, he calls me and he says, Eric, bro, I got to show you something. I'm like, what? He goes, come to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. He brings me to the shower. He said, look up there. He goes, see that? If we unscrew that grill, we can escape. I'm like, dude, this is not a made for lifetime fucking movie. I said, life doesn't work that way. Where are we gonna escape to? The fucking woods? We have no place to go. I'm not going to the street. So I said, just forget the thought. It's fine. Nothing. Everything, everything's normal. People screaming, people yelling. We had therapy throughout the day. Most people would sleep because they were sleep deprived, but I feared that if I slept and didn't engage, that would only extend my time there. So I'd force myself to go to the therapy. So the next day, he says, Eric, I want to show you something. I'm like, what? He brings me to the bathroom. He shows up to the grill. He had unscrewed the grill. He said, you give me a boost and I'll go up there, or I'll give you a boost and you go up there. I said, Trevor or Trent or whatever the fuck his name is, because sometimes I forget. Um, He never hit me for it though, so I must have got it right. So I said, no. I said, put it back. I said, we're going to get stuck in the plumbing. We're going to be in the fucking Daily News. What they're going to show is our faces when they break through the concrete in the hole in the wall. I said, don't do this. Screw it. So he screws it. Next day, he's like, Eric, um, they want to see you in your room. I'm like, oh shit, man, I will kick your fucking ass. So I go to the room. They say, drop your pants. Turn around. I said, dude, I don't have a screwdriver up my ass. And I didn't work on my glutes today. And the guy chuckled and he said, put your pants back on. I came back, I cursed him out so bad. Um, I asked him why. There's nothing else to do in the psych ward but to say, why are you here? At first, people would say, where'd they find you? And of course, being a smartass, again, I would say, what am I, a cat? And then it hit me, a lot of these people are homeless. That's what they meant. So those people you see out in the street, those crazy people, those homeless people, they're people with disorders. They're people who need help. So, and a place to stay. And they, what the fuck was my point? I'm rambling. So, shit, I forgot what the fuck my point was. What the hell was my point? Well, anyway, let me go on. So, oh, so yeah, so we became friends, and oh yeah, the one thing that you have to do aside from watching stupid TV, which I hate, is ask each other, why are you here? So I asked him, why are you here? And he said, my mother doesn't understand me. I was hanging out with the young folks in the front. They were listening to music and I was dancing. She wanted me to come in. I was angry. I didn't understand why. I'm not a bad kid. Hi, how are you? So cute little girl just passed by, a black girl. So she uh, she doesn't understand me. So she hit me in front of the people, and I pushed her, and I fell on top of her, and I started choking her, and then they called the police. And rather than call the police and throw me in jail, they threw me in here. So I said, Trevor, I'm older. I'm 55. You're what, 26? A little bit wiser. Um, Word of advice: don't kill your mother. She didn't kill you. She didn't abort you. You're here. You're alive. At least be grateful for that. We're friends on Facebook. So a bike club for kids, and he went back to college. Met another kid, another guy. He looked like a cross between Jesus Christ and Ashton Kutcher. Very handsome guy, really tall. Of course, I say, why are you here? He said, my father was a psychiatrist. About 12 years ago, he had a back injury and he started taking pain meds. But 12 years later, he's increased the dosage 5 times. And at night, he's just drooling. He's just sitting there drooling. He's a drooling idiot. And I want him to stop. And I took a video of him to show him. And when I showed him, he got into a fight with him. The cops were called. And when the cops got there, I hit 2 cops. And there, they, instead of taking me to jail, they took me here. A lot of people that are in there shouldn't be there. So we became friends, but he was a little bit too smart because at that point, I wanted every fucking pill they had. I wanted to escape. And when he'd jump in front of me in the medication line, he would say, what's this for? How does this react with that? What does this do? Well, what if I'm allergic to this and that and the other thing? And I would say, Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up. Please, I want my pill. But we became friends. Fast forward, we met again after we got out. We went out to eat at a health restaurant. Got stoned. He introduced me to vaping. So we're vaping and we're eating and we're stoned. And he says, what's that? It looks good. I said, it has chicken. It's a health food place. And he said, oh, should I get it? What's it called? I said, yeah, it's called a moon pie. So he orders a moon pie, and they're like, we don't have moon pies. And he's like, bitch, why the fuck do you tell me moon pie? I'm like, why not? I said, you're crazy. I pulled one over on you. So just, you know, there are some good, decent people there. I met a schizophrenic with 6 personalities, too. That was interesting. Um, he, um, hold on. Oh, I got a neighbor coming up. Yeah. I got the key, ma. Mama, can you spare a smoke?
You got smoke?
I'm doing a live video here.
You got a cigarette, honey?
Ugh.
Yeah. You got a cigarette for him?
Yeah, I got you.
You got it?
Got you. Hold on.
Thank you. I'm doing a live video for YouTube. Thank you. Oh, look, you gave me two. You see, it helps to be friendly with your neighbors. He hurt his leg too. I helped him with his bike. So, anyway, what the fuck was my point? Where was I? What the fuck? I want to smoke. Fuck that shit. So, and I'm not supposed to be. I have COPD. But I work out 5 days a week. Which I think is pretty good. I had my ankle replaced and my kneecap replaced. And I got chronic lower back pain from running, marathon running 5 miles a day since I was 15. So, ankle went out when I was 40. So what the fuck is my point? So yeah, we became good friends. I made friends with a guy named, damn, I can't say names. This is gonna be live. I'll call him Mark. But he had 6 personalities. I said, why are you here? He told me I have 6 personalities. And fascinated, nothing else to do, I wanted to learn. So I said, Mark, do you know their names? Are they all good? He said, 5 of them are good, 1 of them is bad. I said, can you control them? He said, I can control 2, I can't control 3, but they still do good things, but I can't control the 6th one. He's bad. And I wanted to know what his name was. I made sure I knew what the fuck his name was. And it came in handy. For some fucking reason, on Halloween, they decided to play fucking Psycho. You know what they do with that shower scene with the knife and shit? And I walk in, and they're doing that knife thing, and he looks at me, and he's doing the knife thing, and immediately to me, and I look at him, and I said, David, go away. We don't want you here. We want Paul. Oops, I said the name. So Paul came back. He snapped back. One day we had drama therapy. We had to pretend we were driving. We had chairs, right? One person was driving, one person was the passenger. The driver had to yell at the passenger, and the passenger had to kind of straighten it out with the driver. So I have Paul with me with the 6 personalities. He's a driver. I'm the driver. He's a passenger. So creating a scenario, because I'm an actor, I pretend to be his father, and I'm assuming that he's had problems with his father because he's a schizophrenic. Or that might have something to do with it. Ergo, I was right. So as we pretend driving, I'm barking at him. I'm calling him worthless. I keep telling him, I wish we never had you. I don't know why we ever had you. He grabs me, and he looks at me, and he said, Dad, why do you hate me? And he starts crying. And I start crying. And I turned to him and I said, I did what I did to you because they did it to me. I don't know how to show the love you deserve. Please forgive me. He turns to me, he says, I forgive you. I love you, Dad. And he hugs me. And as he's hugging me, I hug him back. And I said, you're hugging Eric. You're hugging Eric. And he snapped too. And he said, oh. He said, thank you. I never forget that moment. I never forget that man. He taught me losing it. And I would laugh at people. I would just laugh as I would walk by babbling. And he looked at me and he said, you don't mock people with mental disorders. They can't help their problem. That's the problem. People don't understand that. I love you for who you are, all of you, each and every bit of you. I said, I will never mock you or anyone like you again. And I never have. It's taught me to be empathetic. It's taught me to help people in crutches, in wheelchairs, and walkers. It's taught me to look at babies, because I hated children. It taught me to look at the sky, to look at the birds, to appreciate the trees. There's another child. She's beautiful. And it was a horrible, horrible, horrible experience. But it made me stronger. It made me who I am. And I'm not ashamed of it. I tell people, hi. It's beautiful. How old is she? Oh, you can talk at 2? Smart. She's so cute. My little sister is mixed. Well, she's not mixed, she's Spanish, but she's trigueña. She's a little dark. She reminded me of her. So, yeah. So, everyone out there, have a little understanding for those you don't understand. If someone asks you for $1, they could be a junkie. They can't help their situation. We were stuck in with this girl. She should have been in rehab. I don't know why they put her in there. She needed her medication. She needed her methadone or whatever the fuck they take. And they didn't have it in time. She's flipping out. Now, I know that heroin addicts, because I worked in nightclubs for 7 years, I know a lot about people that take drugs. Heroin addicts crave sugar. So I immediately got her a cup of sugar, not a cup of sugar, a cup of coffee with sugar. And I'm holding her hand while she's on the floor writhing and screaming. The fucking psychiatrist, who happened to be my psychiatrist, pretended not to know me and says to her, if you don't stay quiet, I'm going to put you in the quiet room. No empathy, no passion, no compassion whatsoever. I wanted to punch that woman in the face. I said, baby, don't worry. You're going to be all right. It's coming. It's coming. We met this one guy who changed his name to Ash, who was a writer. He wrote a little play and gave me a part. And my part was to say, where's the coffee? So I thought it's kind of ironic. So on that note, I will leave you. I will meet you tomorrow when I go for my workout. Now, how do I turn this damn thing on?